Now let's talk about components of a funnel. So this is a completely built out funnel with as much friction as you possibly could have. And we'll talk about when to use this and when not to use this, but I wanted to give you guys kind of a lay of the land. All of my sales reps know I'm a big proponent of framing. So this is kind of like what we're about to talk about, right? So what we're going to talk about is the Optin page. That Optin page could, once it's built out, go to a VSL page. And the VSL, if you guys don't know, is video sales letter. It's essentially a way to be able to qualify a little bit more. And then once they go to the VSL page, they kind of get some information, watch the video, saying, okay, cool, I'm definitely qualified for this offer. Then boom, they book a time, and then they go to the thank you page, right? So let's break these down. Now the Optin page, what should the Optin page have? Optin page should have, bare minimum, a headline and a call to action. What we find works really, really well is to have a pre-headline above the headline and then have a post-headline to kind of add a little bit more context, right? So you can see here, our pre-headline is like, hey, this is a free training endorsed by over 600 service-based business owners. And then the headline is, how we generate over 1,273 leads, 597 appointments, and close almost 80 new clients every single month using the same simple 3-step process that we use inside of our business or something like that, right? This one says scaling strategy. And then the post headline says, without wasting hours on cold prospecting or ads that don't work, right? And then you have the call to action. Very simple, in your face. It says, hey, show me the proven client acquisition system. Now, if you scroll up, you scroll down, this is it. That's it. That's the only thing you need to do. There's no footer. There's no header. There's no, there's like homepage about us. This is very, very simple, right? Now, what I want to talk about, remember how I told you guys that it doubled our opt-in rate when we changed the layout of the funnel? So what we were looking here is just a couple months ago, this is what our opt-in page looked like. We had about a 14.22% opt-in rate. And then so we were like, okay, it was me, Zach, and Josh on a call, and we were like, hey, what should we do? What should we change? What should we change? Okay, so we were like, okay, we know that usually the headline is usually the best thing to change to be able to increase the opt-in rate. But what we also wanted to test is like, hey, well, if we want to make drastic changes, why don't we make drastic changes on the funnel? Why don't we change the entire design and the layout and see what happens with that? Now, what we did is, obviously, you can see the button got bigger. We just removed the GIF there, and we kind of condensed the headline a little bit more. And then we did have a footer. I don't know if it's on here. We had a footer, and I think we had a header, too, with a logo. And it looked more like a website. But now, this is literally just a white page with a headline and a green button. And that outperforms our old almost by double. Now, what does that allow us to do? Right? That's going to decrease the cost per appointment by almost half. It's going to decrease it's going to double the amount of leads that we have for our salespeople, and it's going to double the amount of sales calls that we're taking. So what have I been doing for the past month is I've been hiring sales like crazy, all from this page right here, just making this one change. That's crazy. All right, so opt-in page. It could be different things, right? It doesn't have to be a funnel. We talk about minimal viable product and making sure that you can get product market fit. Now, what it could be is it could be just a lead form, like we talk about Matt Trace, right? I think he's still running lead forms, if I'm not mistaken, and he was able to scale up to $1 million business, $1 million run rate just from lead forms. Now, a lead form, for you guys that don't know, is essentially what happens is you create a Facebook ad, you click a button, and the form pops up right in Facebook. Facebook likes it because you're not taking them off the platform. Right? It makes it super easy. Sometimes their name, their email, and their phone number automatically populate in there, right? And you click the button. Now, what you can do is you can have like a thank you page where they book a time. Or if you wanted to add in more friction, you could go to just like a funnel, a page off of Facebook, right? And then the kind of like the key components of that is you can have the pixel, you have all the data, and then it usually increases the friction a little bit and gives you guys more quality. Right? So let's talk about the VSL page. Best thing that you want to do for the VSL page is, number one, obviously have the video up top. You see that little black button, that little black play button? That black play button. Make sure that you have one of those on there. And one thing that we did find for increasing the likelihood that they watch the video is having like a GIF. So if you guys go to our page right now, that's like a GIF of like me talking and it loops every like 5 or 8 seconds, right? It looks like it's playing, and then you click it and they're like, okay, it actually plays, right? And then also make sure that you guys have the call to action. You see that button that says book a time now? That's above the fold. We didn't have to scroll down at all. And then I had a GIF on here. I guess the GIFs aren't playing. That's okay. So let's talk about the booking page. Booking page, you just want super simple page that just says, hey, book a call. Again, super simple. It has the calendar on there. That they go and select a time, and then if you want, you can have like an application on there, right? So this is a step further from, so this is the booking page. You can add in additional questions. Like some of the questions that we have is like, hey, tell us a little bit about your business. What are you currently struggling with? Where are you at? I guess like how much money are you making right now? One thing that we kind of put, well, I'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that tomorrow. So, and then after the thank you page, once someone books a time, what you want to do is send them to a thank you page. It says something like, hey, we've reserved your appointment right now. There's a couple of things that we need you to do, and this is where you can start getting in that 7-hour rule, right? So you can start producing content and putting that on this video. The number one thing that I think everyone should do on here is to create a thank you video. Create a list of all the objections that you guys are getting on the calls, and then start creating videos based off of those objections so that you can address those objections before you even get on the call with somebody, right? And so that's one thing that we're constantly doing. We're constantly asking feedback for the sales team to figure out, hey, because the market changes, right? What the objections are right now could not be the objections, or there could be new objections. And then we try to create content, and that gives us, like talking about our content process earlier, that's probably, that and the application page is probably one of the biggest feedback loops that we have to be able to produce content. All right, so that's the thank you page. One thing, I don't know if you guys can see it right below the Conversionally logo. It says something along the lines of, hey, if you are absolutely interested in working with us today and you don't want to wait, just go ahead and call us. We've had a couple of people that have closed, like on a one-call close just from that, because they've already seen our content and they kind of really, really know that they want to work with us. And they essentially, what happens is they call, it goes to Daniela. Daniela's like, hey, Donna, this person's pretty hot, so you might not want to wait 2 days. You might want to call them right now, and then boom, they close.
If you enjoyed that, press here for the full unedited version of this episode. And don't forget to subscribe. Adios.